Welcome to the webinar on what is a business idea. And may I first like to introduce myself. My name is Guido Baltes. I'm a director of the Institute for Strategic Innovation and Technology Management at the Lake Constance University at Constance. So what we do in research and also in advice to industry and startup coaching is supporting companies at doing what you can see on the left-hand side of this slide, adapting to volatile changes in the market. So ideally, what you would like to achieve is that you very closely follow the yellow line that tries to illustrate how volatile markets move in various market parameters like demand, technology, and the like. Well, there's a very simple saying how you could possibly achieve that, and it was done by Steve Jobs. He said, well, in order to have a successful company in these environments, you just need an entrepreneurial and agile organization being implemented in your company. Well, that is easily said. It's very hard to implement, and well, that's good so, because otherwise we wouldn't have so much to do. So one form of implementing such agile and entrepreneurial organization, of course, is a startup. And this is maybe what you are considering right now. Well, a startup somewhere is a company, but it starts in the beginning with an idea, and that is what the webinar today is about. What actually is a business idea? Well, what is a business idea? Let's start with a very basic and very economical definition, which was provided by a colleague, Paul, from the New York University Stern School of Business. He says, ideas are recipes we use to rearrange things to create more value and wealth. So, first of all, it's about a recipe. So it's describing how you combine things. What do you combine? Possibly things that are already there. Not necessarily a business idea has to foster something that has never been there. Well, that's also allowed, but in order to start a business, maybe it's more advisable to look out for something that is around already and ways to combine it in new and innovative ideas. And what is a business idea other than an idea as such? Well, it's an idea that allows to create value and wealth. Value ideally for customers, that is what we call customer value. Value ideally for society, increasing welfare and standard of living, and wealth, well, ideally for you, the funder of the business. So whenever you think about a business idea, think about these two dimensions. So how does this idea create value for possible customers? And if that being answered, ask yourself also the second question. If customers would possibly buy that idea, how can you create value from that for yourself, creating a profitable and successful company? And here on this slide, you see a little bit of a scheme how business ideas are creating these recipes for rearranging things to create more value and wealth. What enters the formation of a business idea are on the one hand side what we call capabilities. Capabilities can be something that you are possibly good at. Capabilities can be something that a technology that is available to you can do, or can be any other mean or resource that you are able to use and integrate in your business venture. These capabilities should be matched with needs, and that's the second dimension on the upper left part of this slide. The needs are not your needs, unfortunately. These are the needs of customers. Customers, possible customers, potential customers, these are the ones that enable your business. So be very careful to sketch how those customer segments that you want to address are characterized, what they have as a problem that you might want to solve. There's a great saying by an American entrepreneur who would say, if you want to create a good business idea, well, start with a pile of shit and try to bring it away. Now, business ideas as such, of course, evolve over time. And that is what I try to depict in the middle part of this slide. While focusing and adapting the business idea in exchange with markets, meaning competitors and substitutes, as well as customers and their needs, your business idea typically will shape over time. If we look at startup teams that we coach, they have started at one point with one idea, but when we visit them like 2 years later and they've implemented a startup, the business they actually conduct typically is a lot and far away from the original business idea. And that's not bad, that's very good, because a business idea only is a good business idea if it got implemented and built a successful business. And that's the last part of the slide. A business idea always should lead something that creates an economic value from fulfilling customer needs. Value in terms of revenues, built by prices, and financial outcomes in terms of profits. Now, 3 parts, as you might have noticed, form parts of a business idea. The first part is what I before said is the pile of shit. It's a problem. So, what problems do your potential customers face that you might be able to solve? Ideally, it's a problem that the customer is already aware of. This is why an excellent business idea is something that builds on a bad solution being available. Some startups might say, well, we have this solution and it fits the problem. Well, the customer is, however, not yet aware of the problem. That's not such a good idea, because before selling the product, you have to convince the customer that the customer has a problem. What's a lot better is if you could say, well, there is a product out of the market, it addresses a certain problem, but it solves the problem in a very, very poor way, and our solution is a lot better. That is part of a very good business idea. And that brings us to the second part of the business idea. That's the solution and the benefit it provides. This means that by addressing the problem that the customer is aware of, your solution provides a benefit, and this benefit is what the customer actually is willing to pay for. And with this benefit, you position yourself in a market compared to other products available, other solutions that a customer might choose from. In the end, you could define that as what we call a job to be done. So what is the job your solution does at the customer? And what type of benefit does it provide for the customer that the customer is willing to pay for? Well, this is not so simple to answer, and I like to give you a very simple example. Think about a milkshake, right? So we might have all tested a milkshake before. So what's the job a milkshake should do? There's a study out that did some empirics on that, and it turns out that actually a milkshake can fulfill various jobs. In the US, for example, if a milkshake is bought in the morning, it is typically bought by commuters who travel from home to their working places. The job to be done in this case is a substitute for breakfast, meaning if the milkshake is thicker, if it's richer, then it does the job better. So the commuter can consume the milkshake over the duration of the commuting. The richness makes the customer happy because that is the only breakfast the customer got. If you think about milkshakes that are bought on the afternoons, well, that's a different job. The same commuters might come home back and again buy a milkshake. However, now it's not for themselves, it's now for their children. They want their children to have fun. Well, first of all, now the milkshake should be less thick because the children are not sucking as hard as maybe grown-ups would do. Further, you wouldn't want the milkshakes to be that rich because then the children might not want to have their dinner anymore. So the milkshakes in the afternoon should better have a different recipe as those in the morning, even if you sell them from the same shop. That means one product, different jobs to be done, very complex questions to solve. However, if you can solve that, then you have something that you can actually sell and that makes a profit. Besides these 3 aspects and the job to be done, what's very good if you want to start a new business and you want to be successful in a market where there are already competitors, question paradigms. try to solve something in a fundamentally different way. Try to find a solution that is not intuitive, that is not around the corner, that might not be found by anyone, anytime, at low investments. And I'd like to give you a very simple example how paradigms may be questions. I call it the two socks paradigm. We are all used to wear socks, right? So, and how do we do buying socks? Well, we buy them at pairs of matching two. Well, what does that to the industry? Of course, the industry offers socks at matching two. Makes sense. Now we have a enforcing paradigm here. You buy socks as pairs, the industry provides socks as pairs. So this is what we used to. Socks are offered as a pair of matching two. And the question mark already illustrates, could you possibly question that paradigm? And yes, of course you can. And in fact, there are several startups and companies out that have only been built based on questioning this paradigm. And here's just one example. The company is called Little Mismatched, and this is the product the company sells. 3 non-matching socks. You cannot buy a pair of socks at this company. You cannot even buy matching socks at this company, only this product, 3 non-matching socks. There are other startups out like little blacksocks.com and so on. Well, they all address very specific segments of the market. In the case of Little Mismatched, girls at the age of 8 to 14. And I know what I'm talking about. My daughter is a happy customer of that company. So be wrong at the start might be right in the end. So if I would have asked you in the beginning, does it make sense to offer 3 non-matching socks? Very likely you may have answered, that does not make any sense. Who wants to buy this product? Well, try it out. Starting with trying out is one form of questioning paradigms. However, don't think about your business idea. Don't think about solutions. Implement it. If you want to build a business, it's not so much about the quality of the idea, right? Students that want to start businesses frequently asking, well, Mr. Baltes, is this a good business idea? How could I possibly know, right? I can throw my common sense to it, well, maybe also some strategic consideration, but you will only know if you implement it in the market. So building a business may start with a business idea, but this only provides the starting energy. Building a business is more about implementing the business idea, and by implementing, adapting it continuously. And I want to give you a very simple example that shows the value or the minority value of the business idea. One idea, of course, could be climbing the highest mountain of the world. Sounds good? Well, not really. Not really an original idea. The largest mountain in the world? Well, the only reason of existence is to climb it. That's actually the reason why it exists. The highest mountain in the world is only there to be being climbed. And of course, you know the highest mountain, that's Mount Everest, but you may only know one climber, and that is Mr. Hillary from Great Britain. And why is that? Because he was the first one to implement this idea. He was the first actually to climb Mount Everest. So it's not original to have the idea, it's original to be the first to implement it. And coming to the brick walls, this is the last point in the end of this webinar. While implementing your business idea, you will come at a lot of difficulties. You'll face a lot of challenges, and this is symbolized by the brick walls. And I cannot put it better than my colleague Randy Pausch from Carnegie Mellon University. It said, basically, the world is full of brick walls. And when he was young, he was pretty much annoyed by that. When he grew older, he said, I learned to like these brick walls because these brick walls actually give us an opportunity to distinguish ourselves from the others. As he said, the brick walls are there to give us a chance to show how badly we want something. So if you're, by implementing your business idea, face a brick wall, that's good. It may be challenging, but once you've climbed the wall, once you broke through the wall, then behind that you'll see that only few people are still there, and that is a basis for a competitive advantage. To achieve that, of course, you have to keep on. You have to believe in your success. You are not supposed to give up, but to keep on, and that means a hard and intensive work. And there are a lot of further webinars out here, and you may want to look at those in order to find some more ideas and help in implementing your business idea. Good luck on that way, and thank you for listening.